Hail and well met. Welcome to the next episode of the Westgate Irregulars campaign. You'd think I'd prepare with like what number it was. Chapter 34 of book 3. Awesome.
This is
Woo!
this is like publishing where sometimes they want to put the number of the book on and sometimes they're like, don't do it. Right now
Right.
we're in a don't do it phase.
And you go to your editor and you're like, "Oh yeah, my book came out. I'm amazed." And they're like, "Oh my god, that came out. I'm so busy. It's so hectic. Oh my god." Anyway, so welcome to the continuation of the Candlekeep adventures that we're having right now with Tsetseliya and Kayleth and Himbo Sarshan. I am Eric Scott B, the DM of this campaign, at least this part of this campaign. I'm wearing my Cthulhu Cooks the World shirt today, even though the Lovecraft stuff happened last week. That doesn't mean it won't happen some more
I'm
this
gonna
week.
say, is this a warning? This feels
So
like a warning.
yeah, so be on your toes. And on that note, take it away, Aaron.
Hi, I'm Erin M. Evans. I'm the author of the Brimstone Angels saga and the forthcoming Empire of Exiles. And I play
Woo.
Tsetseliya, who is currently an artificer with a headache, looking for a way to stop her alternate self. I'm going to tell you really quick about our sponsor. Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms is a strategy game that unites iconic Dungeons & Dragons characters from novels, campaigns, and popular shows into one epic adventure. And that includes the Brimstone Angels saga, which brings you Frida, Havilar, and Mehen. The game is available for PC and Mac on Steam and Epic, Xbox One, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, iPad, iPhone, and on all Android devices. Today is the beginning of the Dragon Down event, which brings us Merylwyn, the adorable druid, who can turn into a cat and also destroy all of her enemies with something called Merylwyn's Meat Grinder. It's pretty great. So if you're here from Idle Champions and you're working on Merylwyn, there's a chess code at the bottom of the screen for you, just you. And again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can check them out at idlechampions.com.
Hi, I'm Emily Ting. I am a writer and game designer at Wizards of the Coast. Disclaimer, all thoughts and opinions expressed in the stream are my own and do not represent Wizards of the Coast. And I play Kayleth Amakir and a Varial Necromancer.
All right.
I love when you say that because I'm like, what thoughts and opinions do you express in this stream? It's okay to turn your almost boyfriend into a skin book.
Yeah, I don't think WotC really approves of that. But
skeletons have utility.
Again, personal opinion, not sponsored by WotC.
Mechanically speaking, shatter is a solution to every problem.
I see no faults there.
Yeah.
I kind of question WotC for not adhering to that, not making you their spokesperson for that.
It might be company policy. Who knows? I mean, Emily knows, but she won't tell us.
And chickens are most useful when, all you have left of them are their bones. And they're flavored with thyme.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Sage. Wait, was Sage the one we liked?
Sage was the one we liked, yes.
Sorry, yeah, R.I.P. Sage.
I liked all of them. That's why I destroyed them. Anyway,
buy more chickens. You should just name them like Sage 2's Time 2. Sorry.
Timey-wimey.
So anyway, you're in the caverns beneath Candlekeep. Miriam, the sentinel worm, is there, and she has spoken with you and has agreed that she will lead you to the Black Archive. Anoth, the kind of strange priestess lady that you rescued from the cavern that was haunted by her cosmic evil entity, God, is also there. She looks a little startled. She's never left that cavern, at least not in the last 10 years or so, or longer. Time has very little meaning in this place.
Are you okay to come with us? It's probably better than being in the eyeball cavern with the volcano melting elder evil.
So she has the veil covering half of her face so she can't see you. But she looks in your direction when you speak, and she nods hesitantly. She says, I have not left past that seal in so long. I would like to see sunlight again. That would be a blessing.
Do you want to just go the way that way? Because that way is the sunlight. I don't think the sunlight is in the Black Archive. Unless I'm misunderstanding this place entirely. Miriam, is there sunshine in the Black Archive?
Oh no, that defeats the purpose.
Okay. So you can come with us and we'll eventually go back there. Or if you want to go.
Anoth looks to the ghost dragon and says, "My friend, And Miriam says, "No matter. Think of it not at all. Please go and follow your bliss. You have entertained me for long enough. I do not require any more stimulation. I shall simply find another cursed sage who can while away my time. Heavens know these realms are full of them." She kind of eyeballs Kayleth. And the dragon winks, which is really weird. It's ghost dragon winking.
Kayleth will wink back. But in like, what?
This one knows what's up. Ah, so you wish to go to the Chamber of Lost Lore then, this black archive that you refer to. Very well. Follow me. A deal is a deal.
Great. Okay.
She disappears through the wall.
Miriam?
We can't exactly follow you that way.
Anoth says, "Give it a second." Miriam reappears.
Oh, it's very funny. Yep.
This way. She floats down the corridor.
This is a lot. This dragon is a lot.
Anoth says,
Like this dragon doesn't get out enough.
Anoth says, "Imagine spending decades with her."
Poor thing. You should go up and find that bathhouse.
There's a bathhouse?
There's a bathhouse now.
Oh, that shall be
Hopefully.
my second thing. Daylight and then bathhouse.
Great. We'll see you up there.
Okay.
We'll go follow Miriam.
She heads off. Sarshan says, "She seemed nice. I hope she doesn't turn anyone into statues when she gets up there."
She seems very careful about that. Although, if she does, that's kind of on us.
Or on the people who try to talk with her without knowing about her curse.
Let's not
Knowledge
think
is
about
a
that.
weapon.
They'll get over it eventually. Probably. Maybe.
Maybe. Someone up there knows what to do with us, I'm sure. Well,
I'm
yeah.
sure.
Okay, anyway, that's future us's potential problem. Current us's problem is following the dragon to a library of lost lore that we don't really know what's in. You guys feeling okay?
Yeah, come to think of
After
it, we
all that.
never actually figured out what exactly we were getting out of the Black Archives, did we?
I thought we were going in to find chronomancy texts.
No, oh,
Sure.
so it was chronomancy text. Okay. No, sorry, that was me, Emily, forgetting.
Oh, I think we were looking for chronomancy text, although originally we looked for chronomancy text, references to the Golden Heart of the Rift, and a patron list with somebody who maybe could fight the Golden Raven for us. And also not be a bad boss and terrifying and basically repeat Tsetseliya's whole relationship with her father, because that's a no. So anyway, okay, so we got out of there by going through this. Are you okay after being in a zombie, Kayleth?
Oh, I'm
As we're
okay. It's more
walking.
like, are you okay?
I'm not, I mean, I was not in the zombie exactly. I was being carried by Sarshan in the zombie.
Is it something that will get better with repeat exposure?
I don't know, and I don't want to test it. I mean, okay, look, it's gotten a little better. Your wings absolutely made me lose my mind when they first popped out. I don't know if anyone's ever told you, maybe I've told you, that they look a lot like a bone claw's talons.
They do. Aww.
It wasn't exactly a compliment, but I see how I walked into that. So, yeah, I kind of had a weird, kind of flashbacky moment where I'm in an ice cave holding onto a dying man's bleeding leg, and that thing's climbing through the wall. But I don't do that when I see you, so maybe a little is good. And your skeletons don't freak me out anymore. I don't want to be inside a zombie again, though. That would be ideal not to do that. Not to even be close to doing that.
How about I just summon one and keep it with me?
Can we stick with the skeletons, maybe?
Sure, we can stick
Okay.
with the skeletons. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm going to be summoning dead bodies. There
I
are
know.
going to be dead and skeletal. Yes, we can hear you chuckling.
Okay, good.
There are going to
My
be dead bodies around me. I don't want you to get freaked out every time that happens.
I mean, it's mostly fine. And I know this is what you do now. This is who you are. Unless you don't want to do it anymore. Maybe we could find that guy Merkel and just be like, deals off. But maybe not. Maybe not. You seem to be cool. Okay. And I know you're not gonna turn them on me. Mostly.
as long as they're your zombies and skeletons, Kayleth, I think it's fine. Sarshan
I hope
says.
it's fine. Let's just both agree we're not gonna turn evil.
Agreed.
That
As
seems
long-
like a fine thing to agree
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. And there we go. It's binding now.
Excellent.
You won't turn into a terrifying necromancer bent on ripping my flesh from my bones. I won't turn into a terrifying chronomancer bent on, I guess, tearing off your wings and wearing them like they're my own, maybe?
Did
I'm
we
not
just
really
make
sure
a
what's going on
pact?
there. What?
Does that count as a pact?
Can I cast Sickening Radiance again?
No.
No, it's not a pact.
All right.
All right, we better catch up to her before she decides to go through another wall.
Miriam leads you through a number of corridors, through some twists and turns, some obvious, some less so. You might have found your way here eventually, but not easily and not quickly. But Miriam just takes you there.
Awesome.
And along the way, she tells you about certain books that were in particular rooms and the esoteric periods of history that they were about. This one was about the reclamation war of, like thousands of years ago. And this one was about the Tuigan Horde invasion of just last century. It was a really rousing, stirring read. Very modern. Like
I don't think Tsetseliya can fall asleep walking, but she's sure trying.
120 years ago.
Mm.
Anyway, and eventually she says, here we are. This place is rarely walked and only by the highest of readers and keepers. And she kind of dissipates slightly and says, our deal is done. And she reveals a door that was behind her, which is carved to resemble the emerald doors, sort of like it has a very similar aesthetic, but it's black, and all of that's they're very old. Mildew is creeping down, but the doors themselves are untouched by the ravages of the elements, perhaps magically protected. You do see a couple of odd things, though. One, the doors have no handle. They seem to have a locking mechanism, which is a hole about yay big enough for like your arm to fit in. And beside the doors, you see a long skeletonized corpse, which is kind of like hanging there, slumped against the wall next to the doors. And on the doors sparkle wetly. If you're just looking with dark vision, you can just see the faint sparkle.
Can we make an Arcana check to see, or I guess
you can?
Could you remind me? Did I get my
blink and turn your arcane sight on? Yes.
Okay, so I want to look at that. What is going on with that?
Okay, so that faint sparkle is actually spelling out letters.
Oh.
It's a magical script, and it says, "Here is the lore, and here it is kept. Take it with you, for she is coming."
I relate this to Kayleth. Is there any way to tell how old this is? How old the script is? Like, was it put there last week? Has it been there for centuries? Or does the
It's
mildew go around it?
nothing is on the door except for the wording.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you do see faint reddish, very, very old dried blood leaking down from the hole in the middle of the wall, doors.
Oh.
And
I
then
think-
there's the corpse leaning
ooh.
against the door.
The corpse is a skeleton, though, right?
It's a skeletonized corpse. Like there's still a little bit of tissue
Okay.
clinging to it,
So
but it's mostly desiccated and rotted.
like
You can't.
Yeah.
There's no nose. There are no ears. There's
I don't like looking at that.
a big hole where one of the eyes would be.
Can do this.
And you can
So-
also tell
Is
that
it-
it is missing one of its forearms and hand.
It's got the other one.
It's got the other one though.
Just stick the other one in. Maybe.
You wanna pick up the corpse and stick.
I
its
don't
arm
want
in?
to. I'm suggesting this to Kayleth. Because Tsetseliya is definitely doing one of these. Like, I don't want to look at that.
yeah, let's
Listen,
you-
I've made progress today. We
Would you
don't
like
need to backslide.
Would you like to inspect the corpse more thoroughly?
yes.
You do what you need to do.
Okay.
Good to go.
Kayleth, I'm gonna want you to make a medicine check.
Oh,
It could be intelligence medicine if you like. So, making an intelligence check, but adding your proficiency bonus if you have medicine. And you get advantage because, well, you're really used to dealing with corpses.
It's your wheelhouse there.
okay. 12.
12. Okay. So, the corpse is obviously missing one of its arms and hand, right? Like it has some of the bone of its forearm. It ends about there. Okay, kind of middle of the forearm. And the bones are sheared off very cleanly, like as if by some kind of blade or maybe claws or teeth. Unclear. You can also tell that the skeleton is some kind of humanoid. It is very slender, so either an elf or a very slender human. Not a halfling, not a gnome, too slight to be a dwarf. You cannot tell if the corpse is male or female or something in between.
Can we speak with dead?
I think I might actually have a scroll of that. Maybe not. Maybe I gave this up.
Well, I mean, Kayleth has the spell. so-
Oh, then never mind. I have a I have a scroll if you need it. Just do what you need to do.
Let's see. Okay. The corpse does still have a mouth, so yes, you can cast Speak with Dead on the corpse.
All right.
Okay. All right, so you start casting the spell. It takes it's just one action to cast. Kayleth is very efficient at casting the spell. Like you put on the reagents,
you snap in front of its face. Hey,
put on the
her
reagents,
casting
light
Speak with
up
Dead.
the incense. You're like, boop, here we go.
Her casting Speak with the Dead is she puts a hand under its jaw and just goes.
So you conjure a tiny little spark in the dark green light of the Candlekeep underground to light the incense, and it casts strange shadows around the room. The skeleton shudders and goes, yes. What can I do for you, Lady Bone Wings?
Can I ask a quick question? Can I hear him talking, or does it happen in
Yep.
your head?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's talking, the corpse is talking physically, which sounds really strange.
It sounds gross to Tsetseliya.
It
She's just
sounds
like,
it sounds echoey, like you're blowing through a reed with lots of holes carved into it.
Does it sound a little maggoty, perhaps?
"Ugh."
Any maggots that were feasting on this corpse have long since departed, or turned into flies and departed, because there's very little to eat here. It's mostly a skeleton. Ask and I shall tell 5 questions to lead you into this chamber.
How did you die?
I died securing that which must be protected, that which you must take.
As an aside to Tsetseliya, I always forget how much I hate this spell because of how cryptic everyone is.
Ugh. I mean, I feel like you can't put that on the dead because I feel like so many of the living cryptic. It sure looks like we have to stick an arm in the lock. Maybe let's ask him if.
How did you lose your arm?
I lost my arm twice. Once when I acquired that which is needful, and once when I secured it once more.
What is that which is needful?
The arm, the hand that lies within.
That's not helpful.
This is one of those moments where Tsetseliya's like, and Aaron's like,
How do we open this door?
there we go. Just go straight for it.
Reach in and pull the lever. Thus, you can enter and perhaps deliver. And you remember Aiden telling you that when the corpse starts like the bad rhyming, it means the spell's almost over. So you have like 1 question left to ask.
Should we make Is it gonna take your hand off? Someone's hand off? Or
Is that the question you're going to ask? Because
That
Caleb
seems
has
like-
to ask the question.
I know I'm suggesting it to Kayleth. It seems like
Okay.
Kayleth's trying to think of a better question now.
Does it have to be a living hand that reaches in and pulls the lever?
Sacrifice is the device by which you might receive
Is it singing?
visions. This is what you must do. Give of yourself and save all of others. Give unto the occluded one. The corpse settles back to rest.
Okay.
Quick Arcana check for who the occluded one is.
Okay.
Because we've heard that before, I think. Have we?
I honestly can't remember.
The weakness of the split. Like, what happened?
So
22.
if you recall, Azarin claimed to be a servant of some kind of mystery cult called the Occluded One.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And you have also heard it once before. Kayleth has not heard it once before, but Tsetseliya heard it once before. When you
Oh.
were at the Tomb of Horrors, the strange priest who greeted you outside the tomb claimed
Ugh.
to serve the Occluded One.
Oh, I think you're the occluded one, Kayleth.
I'm the occluded one?
I think so. When we went into that weird dream world and you were in that horrible monster dungeon that was anyway, there was like a priest and he said we serve the occluded one and you were the one inside the place.
So it has to be. So he's talking about someone serving the occluded one.
You have to sacrifice for the occluded one. So that feels like someone else has to do it if you're the occluded one. But I also don't know how much we should trust a corpse.
Sarshan says, I'm good at making sacrifices.
Whoa, okay, hang on. Keep your hands to yourself for a second.
Dude,
Okay.
let's plan the.
That's an
Let's-
unusual thing to say. I wasn't touching anybody. Sarshan looks at his hands.
So, do you have any way of like fixing a hand right now?
So my thought was, so the corpse is only missing one hand, right?
Uh huh.
And he's
about
still
that
there.
much.
Yep. So I was thinking, use his other hand. But
You do see a bloody trail leading down from the hole in the doors to about where the corpse is. Like
he
to
did this
about
before.
where its arm is.
It's my suspicion is that it won't work because he said that we have to make a sacrifice, which means one of us has to get our hand chopped off. But that's like a fixable problem, right?
Or one of us cuts ourselves and just smears enough blood on the corpse to see if that tricks it, and then animate dead and have it reach in and try to open it.
I mean, I'm not opposed to giving it a shot. Is there a way we could like Arcana check if this is gonna work? I'm fine trying it, but especially if we roll bad. But it feels like
we should see if it
let's
actually
just
works.
do it. Let's just try it. Never mind. Let's not try to outthink ourselves.
Sorry, Google Meet decided to be weird for a second. Can you all?
Okay.
Yeah,
we have a slightly bonkers plan.
Yep. Okay.
We'd like for one of us, although we have to figure out who, to I guess.
Ooh, why don't we do both of us then?
Ooh, a mix. I love it.
Mix.
Okay. We're gonna cut ourselves and bleed on the guy's other hand and stick it in there and see if it tricks it before we commit to somebody getting their hand chopped off.
Well, and animate dead on him so that he can actually reach in and grab whatever there is to grab.
Okay.
All right, just like a little bit, just enough to spill some blood.
Okay. So you each take 1 point of slashing damage.
Ow.
Sartion also cuts himself. I'm just doing.
You just want to be included?
I just want to be included.
All right. Well, put it on.
I guess. All right. Coat the corpse hand in it as much as possible. Just smear it around.
Okay.
Ew. No.
You're gonna pick up the corpse hand?
I'm not.
Well, I mean, animate dead, so we can just have him like hold his hand out and like move it around to get it fully basted.
Okay.
I feel like Tsetseliya needs to like hide his face. She's like, Starship, come here. And she just puts her face in his chest, like, okay, tell me when it's over.
Yep. He's like, all right, I'm not sure what's going on, but I will tell you when it's over. All right, so you're casting Animate Dead on the corpse?
Yep.
Okay. All right, you it stands up and it looks at you. Its jaw is like hanging over to the side.
Door, hand in, grab, pull, open.
Okay. It tries to put its non-existent hand in, and that doesn't work. So it rises, puts it in its other hand. It reaches in really far, like all the way up to its shoulder. And then it looks at you.
If you feel anything like a handle or a knob in there, just grab it.
You hear this click, click, click.
Pull it.
Thunk,
Wait.
thunk.
Did he pull in time?
The skeleton pulls back out of the hole and no longer has an arm. Like its arm is gone from about there.
Huh. Wonder why he lost so much more this time.
And the door is still shut. Okay. All right. How do
we look in the hole? So what do we see?
Okay. So so you see this kind of like deep, dusty, cobwebby hole, which is coated in dried blood. And you can see the faint flicker of something metallic about 3 inches in. And then if you look deeper, you can see another flicker of something metallic another 6 inches beyond that.
So that maybe is the one that goes if it's a proper sacrifice. Okay.
I will say that with your passive investigation working together, you determine that there's some kind of trap here.
I just noticed what my passive investigation is now.
Like a mechanical trap.
Okay.
I don't know. It appears to have multiple chopping blades that come down and take an arm apart. That is
But does
extended
it look
into it.
Okay? So here's a question.
You
And I
also
have a
don't see
passive
the skeleton's
investigation
arm.
of 19 right now. I don't know about Kayleth. Is yours really also very high? Okay, so anyway, and also let's just say this goes with artificery stuff. Does this look like someone who sticks their arm in, all these blades are coming down? Or is it, if you do this, is there like one particular point? Can we tell if one of us decides to do this, how much arm we're losing? Is it similar to the skeleton?
Based on what you heard, you are pretty sure that if you stick your arm in, all those blades come down.
Okay.
In rapid succession.
And there's nothing, but so the skeleton's only missing like this much arm, right?
Well, from one arm. The other arm is now mostly gone.
Well, yeah. But the original to here.
Oh, the skeleton took a lot of slashing damage. Let me just do some quick calculation.
So that feels like if a living arm goes in, then it goes off differently.
Oh yeah, that skeleton collapses uselessly to the ground.
I sort of wish I could summon David right now, but I also feel really mean thinking it.
Hey, David, go in there.
Tsetseliya's like, oh no, am I turning evil? I actually don't know if David counts as living or not. It doesn't matter. I miss him a little bit, actually. I miss his occasionally craptastic help and occasionally amazing help. Okay.
Sergeant says, if only Sturge were here. He'd know what to do.
Stick his hand in and get the other one chopped off?
Well, he'd probably do some fiddly thing with tools or whatever he does with his quick little fingers.
I mean, I could try and pick it. So this is the thing, and this is Aaron asking, not Tsetseliya. So it seems like there are two things here, because the skeleton, the dead guy, originally was missing this much hand, with the strong implication that this happened because he stuck his hand in the lock. And then he tells us we have to make a sacrifice in order to do this, which sounds like we have to be willing to get our hand chopped off. But then he sticks his other hand in and it's chop, 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 chop. And I feel like what I'm understanding is this is the new normal of how the lock works, and our arms will turn into hamburger.
I will let you make an insight check.
Okay. Is the skeleton allowed to lie? It's 27. I rolled a critical insight check.
Okay.
May we all have those every day.
Kayleth can tell you that yes, the corpse that you animate with Speak with Dead could deceive you. That is possible. But usually it's more like they're being cryptic and it's not clear what they mean.
Yeah.
With your incredibly high insight, you make the connection that that arm was probably not chopped off in this thing.
Okay.
Because if it was, it would be there'd be much less of it, right?
So then why was it chopped?
Possibly you could rig it to the blades not come down and still open the door.
Okay.
Artificer?
I'll give it a shot.
Well, you are trained in thieves' tools, right?
I am. Okay. So that I do. I do a dexterity check with proficiency.
Dexterity with proficiency, yes.
Okay. Ugh, my dexterity is awful. Okay. I rolled a 1.
Okay. The blades.
I don't have
chop
fingers
down.
anymore, do I? I have a +5.
The blades chop down. Make a dexterity saving throw.
10. Can Sarshan regrow fingers?
You get a bonus on your save because Sarshan is standing next to you,
Oh,
right?
good.
Because of his paladinness. And you do succeed on the save. So you manage to, you do get nicked, but it
Oh my
doesn't take
God.
fingers. You take 6 slashing damage.
Okay. This lock sucks.
Sarshan looks very concerned. He's like, "Oh, wow.
Wait a second.
I might be able to help. Hold on. Let's see. Does he have this particular spell prepared? He probably does.
I'm like, magical tinkering. Can I make something that bends blades? No, apparently not. Do we have something that does that? Oh! I can use Flash of Genius on myself? That's fantastic.
Oh, you can.
All right. I could try it again.
Yes, you could try it again.
Wait, okay, before I do this, Sarshan, can you regrow fingers? Is that within your paladin wheelhouse?
Well, if we can find them, I could reattach them and probably.
I don't feel like they're gonna go far. If I look at this, does it look like my fingers are gonna fall down inside the door or something?
Well, the skeleton arm disappeared.
Well, we're not gonna get in if we don't figure out how to get the door open.
Well,
so
give it another try. Sarshan says you could do it.
I rolled a 10, which I can add +4 to with my Flash of Genius. So I rolled a 14.
You add your proficiency modifier too, right?
Oh, you're right. There's another 5. Yay! That's much better.
Okay, so you got a 19.
Yes.
So you just wedge these tiny little metal pieces in that just, you see a blade come down, it goes, it stopped on the ends of the metal pieces. But there are 2 more like that though.
Okay. All right. Let's see if we can hit the next one. Do I have anything I just jam in here? It'd be really handy. I have an emerald. Can I just shove an emerald down there? All right, that one was an 18.
All right, so you reach in carefully as you're moving your hand past the first blade. You can feel the sharp edge just right over your skin.
Just like shaving all the hair off her arm.
And then you're like, okay. Sliding these little metal pieces in to keep it up. Okay. And no sooner have you done that than the metal, like the blade, like you can feel that it's right there.
Okay.
It's ready.
So that's 2. There's one more set. Hang on a second. Oh no, I rolled another 1. Even with the Flash of Genius and the +5, that's only a 10. So.
All right, make a dexterity save.
Oh no. 6. I'm gonna lose my fingers.
You take 17 slashing damage.
How many fingers do I have when I yank my hand out?
You still have all your fingers.
Okay.
But the blade was starting to come down.
It's like dripping blood. Okay. The last one's a doozy. Okay, and you can't regrow things, right? Just double checking.
He says, "Well, my healing magic is somewhat limited. I'm not like a high priest."
Okay,
but we are in
fair.
Candlekeep. Surely they have powerful priests who could do that, right?
That is fair. This is where I don't know. Like the guy's all like a sacrifice, and he's missing a hand, and I'm very stuck on that. But I guess I can try one more time.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I rolled another 1.
Okay, so you're reaching in, and you reach in. You gotta extend like your entire arm into the thing. It's like reaching into I don't know. Has anyone ever played this indie horror game called The Cat Lady? There's one point where she has to reach into this hole in this wall to pull a lever. And well, if you played the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, so you're like all the way against the wall, and you're like, I think I got it. I think I got it. And you hear this click, and your fingers like close around like a lever, and you're just kind of like, oh my god! You just pull your hand out, and you just click, 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 and then the door kind of
Wait, I made it?
starts opening.
Even with a 1?
Oh, you did still take some slashing damage.
Okay. I was fully prepared to lose my fingers and or hand. I just
You
want you to
take
know that.
22 slashing damage. Jeez. All right,
Are you
Sergeant.
are you sure
I'm a
you
beast.
didn't lose
I'm
a
a
finger
beast
still?
though.
Yeah, your hand
They're
is
like hanging on. Maybe they're like hanging on by like a sinew.
your
God.
hand
Like they
is
didn't get cut
very,
off all the
very
way.
cut up.
So she holds her out. She's like, ah, it's my bone. That's my bone.
Nearly fingerless, Tsetseliya. How can you be nearly fingerless?
I'll show you. Ah. Yeah.
She's screaming. I'm definitely going for this. Like it's definitely severed a lot of the finger, but there's like a little strip hanging on. So the fingers are still there, so we can fix it. But
Yeah,
I feel like
Sergeant
with the 1,
immediately
it needs to be a
casts
horror
cure-
show.
Yeah. Sergeant immediately casts a Cure Wound spell on you. It heals you
Squirting
11,
blood everywhere.
and then starts wrapping your hand in a cloth.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
But the door did open. It opens right down that little passage, right down the hole, and you can see as it opens that there's that that opening, and you can see the blades because the blades were each like halved, and so when you put your arm down, you only got hit by half the blade. That's why your fingers are still there, although mangled. Right, your hand is messed up.
How many finger bones are in the trap there? Can we see?
They all seem to have fallen away or dissolved or something. Maybe fallen into the door. In the way that that some old houses have like a little slot in the bathroom that you just drop razors into. Yeah, it's like that.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's a thing. Like old house bathrooms, like the razor disposal is just a little hole that just goes down in the wall.
And sometimes it's been remodeled so that that hole is no longer there. So that when you tear out the wall because you're redoing your bathroom, you just find this pile of razors inside your wall.
Wait,
Free
so what did they
razors!
expect? Like
Out
eventually
of sight, out of mind.
fill it up
Exactly.
with razors?
Exactly.
This is the mantra of the past in a lot of ways.
Yep.
At least the white people past.
Yes.
But anyway, got the door open.
You got the door open at some cost, but you did do it. All right. So now, in this chamber, so a chamber lit by continual flame spells opens before you. It is about 20 feet in diameter, circular. It's roughly hewn. The continual flame spells are different colors, so it's like this rainbow of color in the room. And there is, in the center of the room, a like a pillow that you might sit on or kneel on, and in front of this pillow is a dais, like a raised like
Platform?
sorry, I'm describing it wrong. It's more like a lectern, I suppose. It's kind of small and thin, and like a pedestal, I guess.
A plinth.
A plinth. There you go. Perfect. That's the word. And on this plinth, you can immediately detect a faint, swirling, magical aura, an abjuration spell of some kind. The room itself is flooded with magic. like mostly divination magic, mingled with threads of necromancy.
There's a lot happening in this room. I'm a little dizzy from the blood loss. Well, how do we know what we're looking for?
Is Miriam here with us?
She bounced. What's if I okay? So, is there anything on the pillar?
There's some swirling magic,
The swirly magic.
abjuration magic,
Can we tell exactly what sort?
abjuration magic.
Well, no, I mean more specific than that.
Nope.
Okay. Can we look? Let's look on the shelves. Is it all books other than the plinth?
There are no particular shelves, in fact.
Oh.
There are alcoves, which are filled with swirling mist that picks up the light from each of the continual flames. But there are no books in this chamber.
Oh, interesting. Does it look like people have been kneeling on that pillow?
Yes, you see the indentation of knees.
I want to try
few-
kneeling on the
Some
pillow.
butts. Okay. Kneeling on the pillow, you were overcome with a feeling of peace and serenity, and the pain in your hand kind of fades, and you just feel like you could relax here for a while.
Guys, this pillow is amazing. I'm just gonna chill here.
Does Tsetseliya look okay? Like normal?
It looks like she's kind of like lulled into a kind of meditative state. She doesn't look like enspelled or anything, just relaxing.
This is a really good pillow. I don't think I realized how tired I was. It just feels good to sit down for a minute.
Sarshan says, that might be the blood loss. He casts another cure wound spell on you.
It might be the blood loss.
Do
But the pillow.
we can take the pillow with us when we go if you want.
Do I feel sleepy or just like comfy?
Just restful, thoughtful.
Okay, so I don't
It's
want to
like
like
your
lay
mind
down on
is.
the pillow.
It's like your mind is wandering to more peaceable things.
Okay, then I don't
Sarshan-
answer you.
Sarshan heals you another 12 hit points.
Hmm? What else? I don't know. You guys look for stuff. I'm gonna sit on the pillow some more.
Are you sure? I thought you were here because you wanted to look for.
I don't know. The world just seems so much bigger and clearer sitting here.
Okay. Kayleth has never heard Tsetseliya get all contemplative like that before, and she's quite concerned actually.
How do we know this timeline is the best timeline? What is the best timeline? Am I doing this like in the gist of how this works?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, we do know
We
there
should
are worse.
find a best timeline, and we should all go to the best timeline. Maybe the best timeline has a lot of these pillows.
Kayleth is gonna pull her off the pillow.
No, why are you pulling on me?
All
I'm
right.
not that strong, but you're not that strong. But I think you can pull me off the pillow.
I don't know
Yeah.
what can
Does it
a
pose strength
giant
check?
strength do against someone who's resisting?
Ooh, it's a 10 strength. I really want to stay on that pillow.
Oh, dang. Cecilia's like, no.
I couldn't. Just hold it.
My
I
pillow.
grab the pillow and I like wrap it around my knees, and I'm like, I'm not done. You can have your turn later.
All right. So
Or
you're,
look around. There's maybe another pillow.
you're starting to struggle over the pillow a little bit. And Cecilia, you see the mist in one of the alcoves lit by a pink light swirl and resolve itself into a humanoid form.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Everyone can see this, in fact.
There's a person over there.
The humanoid form
Maybe they
starts
have
to
more
resemble like a
pillows.
long bearded sage. Child, you have come seeking wisdom, knowledge of ages past.
I feel like I know everything right now. Which is that
I
none of us
assure
really know
you.
anything.
Well,
Am I right?
that is wisdom. In that case, what knowledge seek you? This knowledge I can convey.
I'm gonna ask him about the pillow, okay?
Okay.
No, I was asking say it to Kale because she wanted to stop Tsetseliya.
No, we have other things to ask about. Ask him about the ask him about the book that you want.
What book do I want?
Is she still sitting on the pillow at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best pillow.
Hey, Tsetseliya, what's over there?
I don't know. What is over there?
Could you like yoink
Should I pull the pillow out from under her?
dexterity?
I don't have that. Is that a dex save?
Okay. Yeah, you can make a dexterity saving throw.
2!
All right. So she gets away with the pillow.
Hits the floor. Oh, it's like over on the hand that's got the fingers chopped off. So she like goes to catch herself and she's like, "Damn it!"
Okay.
Oh,
Cecilia, I'm gonna need you to make a intelligence saving throw, please.
an 8.
Oh, okay.
Did you make me crazy and take away my peace, Kayleth?
All right. So strange thoughts fill your head. You're just blasted by strange knowledge and weird just just weird prophecies. They all come just flowing into your head. You
Oh my
take
god.
24 psychic damage. And according to the spell description, you are insane. And while you are insane, you can't take actions, can't understand what other creatures say, can't read, and you can speak only in gibberish. Oh boy.
The spider!
Kayla's not actually gonna do.
The sergeant looks at Kayla. He's like, what did you do?
I just took the pillow she was sitting on. She was acting strange.
You need me back right now.
Tsetseliya, you see a vision of an astral dreadnought. You are floating above it, issuing it commands. And then you are kneeling on the astral dreadnought, and it is very comfortable. It is very comfortable.
Is it as good as the pillow?
You are now cuddling the astral dreadnought. Everyone else you see Tsetseliya cuddling the pillow.
This is mine now. Somebody, is this fixable? Or am I just like this now? I'll never leave you again. I'll name you Doodles. And you'll be mine forever.
I think we need to. I think we need to get out of here.
I agree, Sergeant said. This is not reasonable. Okay, Tsetseliya, looking up, you see that there is something on top of that plinth now.
Is it dangerous? Or is it very comfortable?
All right, so you have to kind of pull yourself up to look at it.
I will pull myself up and I will go on the other side. So they are on the other side of the plinth. The plinth is between me and them.
Okay.
I know what's up.
So what you see there is a skeletonized hand
Mm.
spread out like this,
Yeah.
and it reaches to about here, mid forearm.
That guy's hand.
It's fingers end and long claws.
Oh no. Actually, here's a question. If Cecilia has lost her mind due to being yanked off the magic pillow, are her previous traumatic memory issues still in place, or does that seem awesome? Or does it oh no, extra bad?
Make a wisdom saving throw.
I'm pretty good at those. 22.
All right, doesn't seem scary.
I have one. 2. I could have 3. I would like to pick up that hand and also try to use it so that I have 3 hands. The Golden Raven doesn't have 3 hands. But I will.
Wait,
I could put it in my mouth like this.
wait, I thought the hand was just like in her mind.
Well, in my mind, I'm going to stick it in my mouth and just be like,
So you think you've got a hand coming out of your mouth, and meanwhile, what Sarsha and I see are actually you just going like.
yeah, is that what it looks like?
You see Tsetseliya like cradling her hand on the pillow, like yes, yes, yes. I want to pause for a second and let everyone know that we are not describing real world mental illness. Real world mental illness is a real thing with real consequences, and people don't act like this in the real world. We're describing fantasy mental madness inflicted by a weird spell. So, yes, please keep that in mind.
Can I
Tsetseliya's
Return to my scenery chewing. I'm doing this. I already said I was doing this.
I just want to detect thoughts real quick, because Kayleth is confused beyond all measure.
Okay. So, first of all, Tsetseliya. Well,
Mhm.
okay. So, Kayleth, you can pick up Tsetseliya's surface thoughts, so you can basically hear everything that she's saying.
I have 3 hands.
Would you like to probe deeper?
Yes.
Okay, Tsetseliya, you need to make a wisdom saving throw against that effect, unless you don't want to. You can voluntarily fail if you like.
Is that something that in character I would just have to decide to do, or that I as a player decide to fail?
It's
It's a
entirely
fine
up to you.
difference because Tsetseliya is paranoid enough that if she could feel it, she would push back and try to stop it.
However you would like to make that decision.
As a player, I would like to choose to fail.
Okay.
But Tsetseliya definitely just doesn't notice, is what I like to make it be.
Okay. In that case, Kayleth, I'm going to need you to make a intelligence saving throw.
Oh no.
We're gonna die, driven mad by this weird room.
17?
17. Okay. A flurry of thoughts and images and just nonsense just floods into your brain, almost overwhelming you. But you have studied the arcane, the dark magic, for so long, and you are adept at sealing off your mind from intrusion. So you are able to maintain your grip on reality. You do not also go insane. You can tell that Tsetseliya is in the grip of some kind of psychic force that is driving her mad, as it were.
Or
Mad.
I've discovered the way to defeat the Golden Raven, which is 3 hands. I wish I had somebody here to put up a 3rd hand to be really creepy.
However, at this point, Kayleth, you can also see that hand on the plinth. Would you like that effect that you can kind of see reality shifting next to me?
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Tsetseliya, is that your 3rd hand? It's a very lovely hand. Can I see it?
No. I have 3 hands. You have 2 hands. Stop trying to steal my thing, Kayleth. But it's still on the plinth, right? For her?
Yes.
So I see it on the plinth, but you think you're holding it.
I am holding it. Look. 1, 2, 3. Did they not teach you counting in fancy elf school?
They don't teach us numbers. They teach us music. No.
Sarshan says, okay, all right. I've had enough of this.
So
I need to
many
get her out of here.
hands.
He scoops up Tsetseliya.
Whoa! It's 2 more hands.
Shatter the plinth.
Okay. All right. Plinth just automatically takes damage. I assume you step back so you don't get hit by your own shatter spell.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me some damage, please.
Let's cast this at 5th level.
Dang. Big shatter.
41.
You said 41?
41.
Okay. Yeah, that plinth, it does indeed shatter. Shrapnel flies all over the room.
Is the hand still there?
Hold on. Do I have a good sound effect for this? I probably do. Yeah, here we go. So the plinth just explodes all over, filling the room with dust and shrapnel. And the hand is now floating in the air.
Did it appear? I'm
The
assuming
hand
it
did not appear to take any harm from your spell. The sage who was speaking to Tsetseliya has floated back into the mist and disappeared once more.
Completely forgot that the sage was there.
He's like, I'll just let you sort yourselves out.
Sage, can you come back here?
Like a hologram.
Kayleth, you see a dark, shadowy figure on the other side of the chamber, staring at you with one eye out of its hood.
It's the same person from before.
Yes.
Did you do this? Did you do this to Tsetseliya?
Tsetseliya did this to Tsetseliya.
How do I undo it? Do you know how to undo it?
Yes. What will you give me in return?
I don't have anything to give.
You ask for a secret from me. Give me a secret of yours.
Alright, Arcana check, because I probably should have done this before if Kayleth knows how to fix Tsetseliya.
Okay.
25.
All right, this looks like the kind of temporary madness that sets in after a contact other plane spell goes wrong. Like when you touch the mind of some other a demigod, a long dead sage, or a mysterious entity from another plane. She could sleep it off and be totally recovered when she next wakes up after a long rest. Or a greater restoration spell might restore her mind.
Does Sarshan know greater Sarshan, do you know greater restoration?
Oh, that's far too powerful for me.
Okay, can you
It's
knock
maybe
her out?
not for me. I have like 6 hands.
Okay, can you knock her
He
out?
holds Tsetseliya tighter. He's like,
Don't be intimidated. It'll be fun.
Knock her out. When she wakes up, she'll be fine again.
Are you sure? He looks concerned.
I am
It might be
25
hard.
sure.
I might be a god now.
What does 25 sure mean?
I am very sure.
Uh,
She like wraps her arm around Zarshan's head backwards and rubs her fingers on his cheek.
okay, you know what? I'm just going to tie her up. I think that's better. I have some rope here somewhere. He pulls out his bag and starts rooting through. So it's
Okay, while he's doing that, she's gonna
Kind
run
of
up to
sits there.
Kayleth
Oh,
and be like,
come
"Should
back.
we get more hands? We should get more hands."
Tsetseliya. Gonna put my hands on Tsetseliya's shoulder
I'm gonna put my hands on Kayleth's shoulders,
and hold person.
and then I put it on her head.
All
Oh.
right, make a wisdom save unless you want to voluntarily fail.
Let's see if it works. I'm gonna actually make the save and see.
Okay.
17.
18.
Ooh, all right, Tsetseliya.
Let me just-
The shadowed figure is still there.
Gonna glare at it. It's like,
You should take it, for she is coming.
oh, wait, I should take what? Wait, no, sorry, that. I didn't hear you, Eric.
He just said you should take it, for she is coming, which was the warning that was written on the door.
Sage. 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 Hello.
Dark
Are you still
figures
there?
disappeared. The sages are all silent. Your detect thoughts is still going though, and you did successfully probe into Tsetseliya's mind. Once you're there and she's held, not like continuing to distract with nonsense, seeming nonsense, you can tell that she was infused with a huge amount of knowledge that just flooded into her brain. Like the sage said, "Oh, you don't know a bunch of things." Boop. And it just drove her temporarily mad.
Anything in there that we can use right now to get what we need, get what we came for, and get out of here?
Well, as you're sorting through the fractured handful of broken images, many handfuls of broken images, an overflowing waterfall of broken images. You
hands worth?
see one of a emerald green hourglass.
Okay.
That's a thing we need.
Is that somewhere in the real world in this place too?
You think if you sorted through her memories or the absorbed knowledge, then you would be able to figure that out.
All right. Could see if I can do that.
It would probably take some time to do.
I'm assuming we don't really have time.
Well, how much time do you want to spend down here?
How much time do we need?
Do you want to rest?
Tsetseliya, should we rest? Detect thoughts.
Is it still a cacophony?
Yep.
You're gonna have to ask Sarshan.
Tsetseliya
Sarshan
really,
says, "Do you think resting would make her better?"
I think so. Look, how's this? I'll cast Liam's tiny hut. We can rest in there.
Oh, that seems
And-
reasonable. That worked before.
Yes. And then see if we
Seems
can
really
get through
worried.
this. You do?
He does. Sarshan seems really worried.
Are you okay, Sarshan?
Yeah, I'm just not accustomed to Tsetseliya being out of sorts like this. It's very unsettling.
Let's rest, and she'll get better.
Okay, so you cast a tiny hut.
Yep. Because Kayleth really does not want to give up anything more to Vecna than she can help.
So you just cast a tiny hut in the room?
Yes.
Okay, cool. The hand is floating inside the tiny hut.
Are you gonna unhold person, Tsetseliya, or is
Oh, it will
she-
eventually wear off.
It'll wear off.
How long does it last?
I mean, Tiny Hut takes 10 minutes to cast,
Yeah,
and
it
whole
Fair
person wears
point.
off after 1 minute. So
Okay. So it comes out.
Sarshan's like, all right, Tsetseliya. I think let's rest. Okay, resting seems good.
Okay.
Here, and he
Let me
just
grab my hand
hugs
real
you very
quick.
tight.
She's gonna try to grab the hand out of the air.
Okay, you grab it out of the air.
Okay, I got it.
That's nice. Sarshan tucks it into your into your belt pouch.
Okay, I'll get it later if we're gonna rest.
Okay, let's just
How
calm.
many
Just
hands
sit here
do
with
I
me.
have? Okay.
Just sit here with me. That's all right. It's all
Do
right.
you have a pillow?
I could be a pillow.
Okay.
He turns into a red wolf. And then
We'll tell
cuddles
Sarshan
down.
that he's as good a pillow as the other pillow because I don't want to break his heart.
The red wolf kind of makes a little whining sound. All right, you gonna rest?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I think I have like
so-
97 hands right
So
now.
we can see outside the tiny hut is Vecna still there?
No.
Okay, good. That guy gives me the creeps, says Kayleth.
What guy, Aiden? Me too.
Aiden can
Okay.
hear you.
That's okay, he already hates me. And my 97 hands.
He doesn't hate you. He just hates 95 of your hands.
That's fair. I hate at least 87 of his hands and 4 of his legs. But one of them's okay. It's fine.
The
I'm
left
just-
one.
I'm just going to bandage your wounds, okay, Tsetseliya? Is that all right?
It's
Sarshan asks.
fine. It's
Great.
fine.
He gives
I
you a
almost
upper
lost
hand.
3 fingers, and I got 95 hands.
This is
Maybe
gonna-
96.
This is probably going to hurt a little bit. All right? Are you ready for
Okay.
this? He sets
ready
your
for
fingers
it.
back into proper
Oh,
alignment.
why
I'm
did
sorry.
you
I'm
put
sorry.
in
That's
every
another
single
heal spell.
one of the hands.
I don't know how that happened. Anyway, just can rest. Okay? Why don't we work on your Elvish? You wanted to work on your Elvish, right?
I speak perfect Elvish. Balaboom-de-malabulu.
Oh,
And
that
you
was-
two elves, that's nonsense. She's
that,
just
that was that. Anyway, let's work
the
on it.
forest is the
Okay. So sorry. So you rest in the tiny hut. Tsetseliya, your mind eventually clears. You were able to take a long rest in this tiny hut.
I feel like I have twice a headache.
I give 95 headaches.
Mhm.
Are you okay now?
I
Tsetseliya?
do.
Yeah, it has passed. You're back to normal.
Do you remember?
I remember my brain exploding. And then some weird thing about hands.
You insisted you had a lot of hands.
You were very clear about that, Sarshan says.
But I've only got the 2 and they're still on, right? I mean, except for this bit. Well, that's looking better. Ugh. Ugh. What was in that pillow?
Sarshan looks around. He doesn't know.
Where is the pillow? Did we make sure that did not escape?
Yeah, Billow's there.
We should destroy the pillow. Can we destroy the pillow? Can we make an Arcana check to destroy the pillow? Because that does not seem like it needs to be free.
Okay, you blink and turn on your arcane sight. The pillow appears to
I
be
rolled a 1.
the pillow appears to be a mundane pillow.
I'm
It's
gonna
just
burn
there
it.
for people to.
Just,
All
for,
right.
just for safety.
Yep. As one does.
Yep. Better. I'm pretty sure that pillow made me insane. So,
Well,
do I remember sticking the hand in my
technically,
bag or no?
typically fire magic does not function in Candlekeep, but in this particular
Oh, right.
room, it
Does
does.
magic missile work?
Fire does work in this particular room.
Oh, okay. Because I could also just
There are
take
no
my
books.
spear and stab it. I'll just take my spear and stab it, and then you don't have to make a fudge for the fire magic. I'm just gonna stab this pillow for a few minutes, guys. Like, we should just make sure we found whatever's in this room. Is there more chronomancy stuff in this room? Like, that's what we promised. Just gonna
There
chop
are
it up.
only the torches with the misty alcoves, but you
Okay.
get the sense that your mind is full of so much more information than it was before. And while you slept and rested, dreams occurred to you in which you learned more about chronomancy. So the information is there. It's very similar to all the knowledge you absorbed when you broke that crystal.
Whoa. Okay, wait. Did we read a bunch of books while I was not all here? Because I think I might know some stuff. Could I make an emerald hourglass if I wanted to?
You can't make one,
Okay.
but when you think about it, you realize that you know how to use one.
Does that mean I know how to break one?
It does, yes.
Okay. So we got a plan A, plan B. I think going crazy made me learn chronomancy. That's great, because we made that no evil pact, so it's all fine,
Okay.
right?
Right.
Sergeant nods. Right.
So yeah, I think I could at least work the hourglass thing. Which, now, do I understand what it does?
So, yes. And you can explain in very detailed terms, but generally speaking, the hourglass is what grants a chronomancer who uses it power to move into multiple timelines.
This is great.
So, is it?
I mean, I think it's great. We just take it from her and then we jump back and, I don't know, punch her in the face so she doesn't do bad stuff. I haven't thought that far. But it seems good.
Okay.
You don't seem like you think it's good.
Oh, no. I'm sure it's great, Sergeant says. I trust you. I think everything will be fine.
I would like to insight check that.
Okay.
26.
Yeah, he seems very, very nervous and anxious.
Do you not trust me with a chronomantic artifact?
Of course I do. Why wouldn't I?
You can think of a couple reasons.
Oh, I just...
Well, what if I taught Kayleth how to do it? Then I'm not doing it.
Oh, yeah, that would probably be better. What if you taught all of us how to do it?
There we go. Then anybody could do it.
Perfect.
Everyone except for you.
Yeah. I won't do it. Because if I do it, then that seems like...
Sergeant seems
Seems like you're
relieved.
turning evil then, right?
Yeah, I'm
No,
not doing that.
We accomplished something.
I just
I'm
want to
glad.
be super clear here. The only thing I really care about is just stopping her and maybe shutting this whole thing down and possibly smashing her face in before we kick her into oblivion for ruining my life. I don't want to be a chronomancer. I don't want to rule a weird, shadowy, dark version of Westgate, and I don't want to be mean. If I do it incidentally, I'm very sorry, but it happens sometimes.
Those seem like good goals.
Okay then.
Okay. Okay. I guess we should go back up. We should see if Anosh is okay. And if we've found everything we need to find. I mean, there was some other stuff, maybe.
I mean, is there anything else here that we could just like?
Yeah, the misty things. If we go up to them? Can we like summon out a sage and ask them further questions about stuff?
So you're pretty sure that what allowed you to commune with one of the sages is spending some time meditating.
And we just destroyed the pillows to meditate
Well,
on.
maybe we could just meditate like without assistance.
Like on the ground.
Yeah, and then
In fact, during your long rest, Kayleth and Sarshan have both spent some time in meditation.
oh, because you're elves.
Right.
Oh,
And you realize that you could contact one of the sages. You're in the proper mind space to do that if you wish. Sarshan's like,
You kn-
nope. Don't want to do that.
Sage?
All right, you gonna make the attempts?
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to make an intelligence saving throw.
I have a question while she's doing that.
Mhm.
Does Tsetseliya remember taking the hand and sticking it in her pocket or her bag?
Make an intelligence check.
That's a 21 save, by the way.
All right.
19.
Okay. Yes, you will remember, but only at a dramatic moment.
Okay.
So I will
Fair.
let you know.
Okay.
All right, Kayleth, you successfully commune with one of the sages. A sage appears out of the mists that are glowing with yellow light and says, Kayleth Hamakir, ask me your questions and I shall answer as I can.
Tsetseliya, is there anything else you want to know?
We gotta find out about the golden heart of the rift. Why
What
does
is the-
that matter?
What's the golden heart of the rift?
The golden heart of the rift. A holy chamber surrounded by jealous entities of the deep.
Where is it?
At the bottom of the Sea of Fallen Stars.
When is it?
Now,
How do we get there?
swim, use magic. It is not sealed, it is protected by great, powerful, jealous entities and a queen whose wrath knows no bounds. You
What are
have
we-
but one question left. You
dang
should
it.
consider carefully. You are surprisingly impatient for an elf.
Burn. We could
Yeah, but
ask.
you're human and you're dead, so.
We could ask how do we find the way there? We could ask what are they guarding? Because like if it's a giant shark, maybe we skip it. We could ask. That's all I got. Because she said if the thing was that the Golden Raven told Rogar that if he goes to guard Golden Heart of the Rift, he has to kill everybody.
We could ask
Kill,
what the
right?
kill or
Is that
destroy
right?
whatever he finds in there.
Kill or destroy whatever he finds in there. Okay. So we could ask what's in it. We could ask how exactly do we get there? Because obviously she doesn't like whatever it is.
How exactly do we
What's it
get
good-
there?
yeah. The sage rolls his eyes. Hire a guide. Oh, you waste my time with these meaningless questions. I shall
wait,
return to
that's
my
not-
eternal
wait,
study.
wait,
Hey,
back
you
in
know
the-
what? That is
Hold up.
insulting.
Because we had to come down here to the lowest secret level of Candlekeep to find somebody who knows what it is. So if we go up to the surface and we're like, "Hey, yo, can you take us to the sea, to the Golden Heart of the Rift? It's in the bottom of the Sea of Fallen Stars." We're gonna be all year about it, trying to find somebody who's heard of this.
Also, who are you to decide what is worthless and what is not? Just because you have your own priorities stuck and you are stuck here in the bottom of nowhere doesn't mean it's the same for anyone else. So who are you to pass judgment on us?
The snooty yellow sage does not reply.
Can you at least
He remains unavailable.
can you
Yeah,
at least give
well-
us a city to go look for a guided?
Sarshan says, Westgate's on the Sea of Fallen Stars, isn't it?
Yeah, but if we go back to Westgate, that feels like the first place the Golden Raven's gonna look for us.
Well, you know what? Oh, I guess no
The
more
stone
questions. Guess we're
faintly-
gonna have to leave this stuffy, old underground vault and go back upstairs into the glorious sunshine that you will never experience yourself.
Yes, please go. Leave me in peace.
Can you bind him into something so that we can take him upstairs and annoy him?
Is it possible to soul cage him?
You'd have to summon him again, which would require more meditation.
I mean, Sarshan hasn't summoned him yet.
Sarshan's like, no, I saw what happened to Tsetseliya, and she's a lot smarter than me, so... Anyway, at that moment, you feel a tremor, like the ground shakes slightly under your feet.
That's not good.
There's a brief moment of silence. And then you hear just a loud clamor from up above.
What sort of clamor?
Like shouts, cries, exclamations of terror.
The sound of people turning into stone against their will?
No, not necessarily, although
We just go up like this.
all right. So the ground shakes once more.
Okay. I feel like we have to go see what's going on up there and potentially help.
All right. You hurry up and run up back through the tunnels. You remember where the dragon led you, so that's not really a problem. And you climb up the stairs, and when you get out, you see that you are in the sunlight in the open day of Candlekeep, because you spent basically all night down there, so it should be the morning. But rather than the morning, it is pitch black. And if we go to roll 20, I will show you why that might be. You're looking around, sages are running around, terrified, startled, unsure what's going on. And then you look up and you see a black shadow above you because there is a huge creature floating above you.
Oh,
That's right.
oh no, that's very bad.
The astral dreadnought has come to Candlekeep and is floating above you. And that cliffhanger is a good place for us to take our break. So, don't go away. We'll see how this develops. Hail and well met. We're back. The astral dreadnought is coming for Candlekeep. Our intrepid heroes have reached the surface once again, and you can see this massive creature not too far away, kind of floating over the court of air.
I'm sorry, like, my witch hut crashed. Why is that thing flying?
The
I
sages who
dislike
are
the implications.
the sages who are running around near you are just as confused as anyone. They're trying to get to, like, safe places inside buildings, things like that.
Honestly, is
Okay.
there an inside of a building that is considered safe?
I think they're being a little aspirational here. Okay, so we've dealt with these before. I banished it before. Maybe we just need to find somebody with banishment and a big book of rune magic to juice it up. That's got to be here somewhere, right? Is there
Maybe.
anybody who can tell me where that might be? Also, I'm totally down for actually discussing and making a plan. I think Tsetseliya is just a little impulsive.
I have a plan idea. Find
Spit it out.
Anash and fly her up and have her look it in the eye.
Oh. I'm sorry here for that. Okay, we might get her eaten though. Are we okay with that?
Well, no. I mean, obviously we won't let her get eaten. But like, well, okay, she might get eaten. There's always going to be a risk, right? But hey, if we're flying her up there too, we're sharing equal risk.
Do we need some kind of like, are you turning evil safe word?
No, it's like we're sharing equal risk. So that's not like I'm putting other people in danger that I wouldn't willingly take myself.
I guess that's fair. Are you flying her up?
The Astral Dreadnought floats closer over the court of air.
Another question: is that the Golden Raven's Astral Dreadnought?
I don't.
You
Okay,
do
we're gonna
see
gloss over that
chains
since we
hanging
might get
from it.
eaten soon. I think that might be Doodles. I mean, that's hers. That's her Astral Dreadnought, I think.
It's Doodles.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I call it. If it were my Astral Dreadnought, I'd name it Doodles, okay?
I named my chicken Sage.
It just feels like it'd be easier to control something if you gave it a cute and slightly humiliating name.
Okay, so you see at the top of the Exaltation, that big castle in the middle of the ward that you're in, a wizard or someone in robes that looks like a spellcaster of some kind appears at the top of the tower and invokes a spell, and you see this blue sphere kind of appear over Candlekeep, like a force field.
Does that keep the Astral Dreadnought out?
I mean, it's not a magnet, I don't think.
Well, no. I mean, like, is it working?
And one
Oh,
of the
fair.
one of the sages near you says, "Oh, good. The keeper has invoked the protective sphere, the mythal. We should be safe now."
Just in case it's not, do you know banishment?
What? And you hear screams from farther away out in the court of air.
Did he just not seal the court of air off? They're just people getting murdered out there?
The sage looks confused and he runs away, terrified. And Sarge says, "We better get out there."
Okay, but there's a slight problem, which is that she wants to kill us or kidnap us. I didn't really get into details, but it's not good. If we go out there, she's gonna snatch us.
Where's Anash?
Well, we can't just leave these people to die.
Right, I'm opposed to that too. I'm just saying, I don't know where Enosh is. How do we find Enosh? She was gonna go to the bathhouse. Crap, she's out there. Okay, can we get out there without getting spotted?
Spotted by who?
I mean, point
The
the
Astral
first.
Dreadnought.
I'm thinking the Golden Raven is probably has not just set her pet free to roam. So, number one.
So you have this flash in your head, and your head hurts for a second, of sitting on a throne atop the Astral Dreadnought's head. And you do remember confronting the Golden Raven on top of the creature.
Yeah. Is she up there? Can you see a little tiny throne?
You can't see her, but it's like you can feel her, like you know that she's there.
Okay, but I'm still wearing my non-detection amulet, so
Right.
that's good. Okay. We have to get past that and to the bathhouse to get to a node, right? And potentially to sneak around the back and run for the witch house.
Yeah.
So how do we get past it? Unless we can get one of these people to slow down and tell me they can cast banishment. Because I really think that's the prime thing. Somebody's got to do banishment. I mean, I think
Sarshan-
it's absolutely garbage. I don't know banishment right now.
I mean, does
Sarshan
it?
says Skaha can cast banishment.
Yeah, she's on the other side of the astral dreadnought, though.
You can send her a message.
Is there a scroll in here? Could we just get a scroll? Do they just have scrolls in here? Is that a thing? Like a gift shop? Is there a gift shop that sells scrolls?
You realize that you are literally surrounded by buildings full of spell books and scrolls.
I'm gonna grab a passing sage.
Ha! Yeah.
I need
yes.
banishment. I need a banishment scroll and a big
You're
book of
banished,
runes.
and then he runs off.
That's why is everybody here useless? That's my best idea.
Another
I'm gonna
sort of
run into the next
older,
building.
more experienced looking sage stops and he says, you're those adventurers I was looking for.
I need a banishment scroll.
You weren't supposed to be here in the inner ward. Wait, what do you need a banishment scroll for?
That!
You think you could banish that?
Look, it's a thing. There's banishment and also some rune magic. Do you have that?
Well, obviously. Let's do it.
Thank you. That's my
Okay.
best plan. Do we have another adjacent, adjacent kind of plan?
Well, I mean, okay. How is it tracking us? Like it showed up here,
I don't know.
but
'Cause
otherwise,
it shouldn't be able to, because we're wearing the non-detection amulet. So she's not doing kind of divination on us. Sarshan, did you take your amulet off?
He looks. Nope.
was it something when you went insane?
I don't think so. I mean, okay. Here's a wild theory. If I had to figure out how I might try to defeat me with the help of you and also Sarshan, maybe I would just go to all the places I would think that I would look. And I did think to look here. You and I did think to look here. So maybe she's figured it out because her brain works like mine, except evil, which mine is not. Yet, no, it's not.
No, it's not. Sarshan agrees.
Okay, so maybe we just sneak past under it. You know, the case of it being so big, it doesn't notice the tiny things.
Run through in the confusion. Sarshan
Okay.
says.
If this guy brings me those things, though, we can just take it with us if we need it.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna run after that sage and see if he's got what we need. Basically, I just need a banishment that's like I did this once. I know that sounds insane, but once I did banish an astral dreadnought using a weird ritual with some rune magic and a banishment scroll.
I mean, that seems unlikely, but you
It
are
was an
adventurous. You can
old
do things.
I'll tell you the story sometime. It was really quite impressive and really wild.
I believe you. He's
I moved our house and committed some real estate fraud.
Wow, that's amazing. He's looking through scrolls in this minor library building. He is a kind of a short, stout human with dusky skin and kind of wispy black hair. Says, my name is Tellus, by the way. And you are?
I'm Tsetseliya. If we die, we'll make sure we tell other people, or the other way around.
And I am Sarshan, Sarshan says.
And I am no one in particular who's never been to Candlekeep before and never written this place down.
Definitely
Wait,
not.
you're Kayleth Amakir, aren't you?
No.
No.
Sarshan says yes.
We've heard no. She's
No, we know
her hand over herself.
here, but I am actually Artemisia.
It's my sister. Half sister.
You
I
see
had
the
heard
finger
she was skeletal in build, but this is taking it a bit far. Wouldn't you agree? He pulls
People
out a
are
scroll.
so just thank you.
Yep,
Also, the other thing, the booster. We need the booster.
the booster.
The rune magic booster. This is only okay. This is going to be risky because that thing, believe it or not, they have a lot of charisma.
All right, take my hands.
Okay. She tucks the scroll under her arm and just kind of holds it awkwardly.
Okay, the wizard, he casts a spell. You feel like you're falling backward and are suddenly teleported to the top of the exaltation. Now
Okay.
you are almost falling backward.
Okay.
Sarshan catches you.
Okay. This wasn't the original plan. We've definitely gone off script here.
You see
what's
the Keeper of Tomes is up there. He's
Hi.
casting a spell, maintaining this
Hello.
mythal protection.
Hello, Sarah.
Yes.
Nice. So, why are we here?
Reader of Aste, what is the meaning of this? These are adventurers, Master. They believe they can banish the Dreadnought.
It's a backup plan, sort of.
A backup plan. It shouldn't even be flying over here. And the Keeper says, I know. Fortunately, the Mythal is keeping it at bay. Unfortunately,
It's getting very close.
unfortunately, it dropped a number of creatures in the Court of Air, which are inside the Mythal. Not to worry, this Mythal repelled chosen of numerous deities not so long ago. I'm sure this will, and then there's a loud boom, and this crack spreads through the force field.
You're sure what?
Is that supposed to happen? Is that like a crumple zone? Is that
So
a crumple zone?
So you said you might be able to banish it.
I mean, maybe we had a couple of plans. One of them was to turn it to stone, and then if that didn't work, we could banish it, and if that didn't work, we could maybe lure it away. I don't like that last one.
Tellus looks at the Keeper of Tomes and says, "Well, it's better than waiting for it to break through."
So I'm just like, I once banished one of these things with the help of my friends and some rune magic, and I think first choice was the cursed priestess that's in the bathhouse. Could maybe just like take a peek.
What was that power enhancing ability that that passing adventurer had, who came through recently? You mean one of the bindings? Well, I don't know. You have to be a very powerful Vrimyani to do such a thing.
That's very convenient. That is me. I am definitely a powerful Vrimyani. Don't ask questions. They let girls in now.
They both raised their eyebrows, like
It was
in
sort of an
mirror
accident.
gaze.
Have you ever, no, see, have you been to Rashaman?
Yes, yes.
Okay, have you
You
ever?
have a battle binding?
Yes, it's on this thing. Which holds up a spear.
Oh. Well,
Listen, my father was a piece of work. My mother is an even bigger piece of work. Layers of secrets, and he managed to trick the Wickler in. So doesn't that tell you I have to be pretty well trained as a Vrimyani? Because you gotta be pretty smart to get up before the Wickler in.
the Keeper's like fascinating.
Okay, let's tell him. This
I'd
is
love
definitely...
to hear your entire life story, but
I don't want to tell it
it's
to
a
you.
bit
I just want to
pressing.
convince you enough to make this happen.
All right. I don't know if you've ever done this,
I
but
literally just said I did.
remove the binding from your spear and bind
Okay.
yourself to me.
Okay, that one? Okay. I don't want to die, so let's try that.
Okay. Yeah, you can see fighting still going on in
Okay,
the
we gotta
Court of Air.
stand-
You can see over the wall from your perspective. You see there are just like these dark, shadowy creatures that are cutting down people in the Court of Air. And Sarshan is looking increasingly nervous
Should
about
we
it.
get down there?
He says, maybe I should go down there. I can't just watch people suffer.
No, I'm in agreement with this. We have a lot of things to do here.
Can we deal with the actual dreadnought first?
Well, there's not much I can do to deal with the actual astral. Huh, interesting. Actual astral dreadnought. Let me go, Tsetseliya.
Can't we go with him? Or is there something you were gonna help with in the Astral Dreadnought? Because otherwise she's like, do not let him go down there by himself.
Sarshan, I'll fly you down.
All right, let's go.
All right. Puny 9 strength. Does this work?
You dive off the edge of
Be
the,
careful!
of
Both of
the
you!
building and immediately start plummeting. And you're like, ah! Yeah, you're able to fly, the two of you, and mostly glide down, falling. But you do manage to get down there without hurting yourselves. And once you get down there, I will And we'll move a couple of tokens here for us to use. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So you have flown down where you find 2 of the witches that you confronted in the in Darkest Westgate. One of them is wearing that drama mask with the frown, and one of them is wearing a very lovely carved face of like a woman, except that the bottom quarter of it is broken off, and you can see that her face is scarred underneath. And they look over at you. They're like going around hacking down sages and travelers at Candlekeep, and you appear to challenge them. And the witch with the broken mask looks at you and says, "Ah, another chance. Wouldn't you agree that this is a perfect moment to kill them, my sister?" And the other witch just kind of looks disconsolate and doesn't say anything. They both get ready to fight, though.
Is the one with the broken mask Artemisia?
No. It doesn't sound like Artemisia. But what I'm going to need now is for you to roll initiative. Remember to click on your token. Okay, and see, I'll just sort these, and it looks like the witch with the broken mask is gonna go first. Tsetseliya, you're on the list too? Okay, good. All right, so the witch with the broken mask comes over and attacks Sarshan. Well, I mean, she was going to attack Kayleth, but Sarshan moves himself in the way, so she attacks him instead. She hits him several times with her elegant curving sword. Okay. And her sword charges up with thunderous energy, and it seems to be crackling around him. Like she strikes him, and the energy goes around him, like Sturge when he casts Booming Blade. Okay, it's Sarshan's turn. He engages her in combat, swinging his own blade at her. The other witch looks at Kayleth, kind of... It's hard to tell exactly what's going on there. You want to make an insight check, Kayleth?
Yes. 11.
Yeah, you can't figure out what's going on. But that witch, she points her sword at you, which is a long, curved, like saber-like sword, as though challenging you to a duel. Okay.
Fine. Bone sword.
Kayleth, I have a question.
I think I'll actually put Kayleth just ahead of Tsetseliya so that we do her and then we switch back to Tsetseliya and then we go to the
I
next
defer.
round.
I hold my action. Kayleth,
Okay.
I have a question for you though.
Yep.
In your fancy elf school where you only studied music, did you also study dueling?
Wait, study what?
Dueling.
You know, so
I have in my head this image of Kayleth being like, "Oh, we're gonna do that," and then just like falling into this perfect, graceful.
I mean, she
thing.
did.
I just want to know if I need to correct my headcanon.
I mean,
was
she
a
did
blade
start
singer.
off as a blade singer, so.
It's not like she's completely forgotten those talents. All right, it's your
Love
turn, Kayleth. What would you like to do?
How is the other person? How's the witch looking?
The witch that Sarshan is fighting?
Or
Or the witch who has challenged you?
The witch who's challenging.
She looks like scuffed, and her clothes are a little bit torn, but generally pretty much fine.
Does she look familiar at all?
Make an investigation check.
Natural 20.
Oh wow. Okay.
Hey.
So, you have spent, okay, as in your time as a blade singer, you learned a great deal about sword fighting and about stances and about how to carry yourself in battle. And those talents you have kind of left behind, but they've never really gone away. So, measuring this person, and we'll say you exchange a couple of flourishes, a couple of parries and riposte, but you don't actually make any actual strikes. You're just starting to fence, kind of testing each other's technique. But between the long silvery hair, the red scarf that she's wearing tight around her neck, and the mask, you are pretty sure that is Shay Darksong right there.
Hi, Shay.
Okay, she hesitates. Would you like to attack her in that hesitation, or would you like to do something else?
I would very much like to attack her in that.
Yeah. Okay.
Aiming for the knees. See if I can kneecap her. And can I say that, like,
ancient elvish art of taking them out of the knee.
no longer an adventure because you took a sword to the knee. I want to say, can I say that if the hit actually connects, use the blade to channel blight at her knees?
Oh, okay. So basically what you're doing is you're casting blight, but you're kind of like framing it as using your sword to attack, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Sure. What's her save that she has to make?
18 Constitution.
18 Constitution. Oh, good thing elves are so constitutional. All right. Okay, she did make her save, so I think that means she takes reduced
Half
damage. Okay.
Half damage, which would be 24.
Okay.
Centered on the knee.
All right. So that that dark magic bites into her, but not really strongly. She manages to shake it off mostly. Okay. And then she looks up at you. She still doesn't say anything. She just continues fighting you utterly silently. And then it is Tsetseliya's turn. Okay, so you are binding yourself to this archmage.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I should know what your name is while we do this.
He says, I am Janusi, Keeper of Tomes, Master of Candlekeep. Good to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. I'm Tsetseliya. So I have 2 thoughts here. 3 thoughts. Really. Theoretically, we can banish this thing. It doesn't have to be me. It could be you that banishes this thing. You think your banishment might stick a little better.
You've done this before, yes?
Yes, with a little bit of boost from some rune magic, but I have this other thought because I have to use a scroll and not think I could do that. But I also know how to cast reduce. Maybe we could shrink it.
Interesting.
But I guess if I shrink it, it's still going to be gigantic. So maybe the banishment. I'm panicking a little bit. There might be an alternate me on its head.
He puts one hand on your shoulder, and you kind of look him in the face for the first time. He's got that ageless quality that, you know, fairly good-looking middle-aged men get. And like he has dark hair, his hair's gone a little gray at the temples. He's obviously Kalashite in origin. You can tell based on his facial hair and his general his accent and his mannerisms. He puts his hand on his shoulder and he says, I know I have just met you, but I have faith that you will make the correct choice. Denier bless you.
Oh, okay. That's what you mean. Got it. Okay. Thank you. What does that do?
It just gives you some confidence. You gain inspiration.
Oh, okay. Gonna need it. Is that from Cassia335?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay.
Specifically for the banish attempt. So here we go. All right. So you're gonna channel banishment. You're
Yep.
gonna channel magical energy from the Archmage. Okay, so I don't know if Tsetseliya has ever actually used her binding in this way, and I'm not entirely sure if you're high enough level Vermiani to have this ability, but you know, it's fine.
This is definitely the first time I've ever done this, because when Tsetseliya learned Vermiani stuff, it was a lot more low level, and she was maybe watching people do this. So when she said, yeah, I know how to do this, like, she was lying. She was lying.
So you basically, you tie your wrist to his wrist, and the binding starts glowing, and you can feel just like this calm but powerful energy flowing into you.
Okay.
And it's going to empower your spell. So
Handy.
you can cast banishment from the scroll.
Okay. So here's the thing, if I recall correctly, banishment is a save, not an attack.
Yep.
If I have inspiration, does that do anything?
Yes.
So the save for banishment, if I am casting it, actually, am I casting it as an artificer or am I casting it as a warlock?
You are casting it as a warlock.
Okay, then the save I have is an 18. It is like reach deep down in that place where the Rashemi Ager spirit like sort of jumped into me and unlocked that Eldritch Blast. Like, I'm just gonna like reach deep in there, whatever it is, and pull the magic from there, and sort of read from the scroll and try to point it all at this astral dreadnought.
Okay. So you start casting the spell. Dreadnought is going to make some saves here.
Why are they so charismatic? Sidebar.
And I
Look at that thing.
I said saves plural because the inspiration means it has disadvantage on its saves.
Okay.
And the channeling also gave it disadvantage on its saves.
Well, that's handy.
So
Glad I made this new friend.
basically, in this case, I am having you burn through some of its legendary resistance, and
I forgot about those.
it indeed starts wavering. Like its existence starts wavering. And you have this flash of insight that astral dreadnoughts are only supposed to be able to exist on the astral plane, and you're not sure how this one is on the prime material plane.
Oh, that's very weird.
And that might leave it vulnerable in some way. Like you see, you blink again, and you see the chains of magic binding it. Like there are these silver chains that come out of it where the physical chains are, and they are binding it to some kind of portal.
Oh, interesting.
And your banishment has snapped one of the chains.
Interesting. Okay.
And the astral dreadnought gives off a mighty roar. And turns its full attention toward you.
Oh, good. Well, the people in the court will be safe.
Okay, so back in the Court of Air, the witch fighting with Sarshan has kind of maneuvered him away from Kayleth, and they're still fencing. She is obviously very skillful and also has a certain degree of magical ability. She appears to be a blade singer herself. Sarshan, deprived of some of his own power, since he doesn't have his warlike powers at the moment, is not doing too hot. But he's holding his own. Okay, Kayleth. The witch facing you melts into the shadow of the dreadnought and appears out of your own shadow to stab you. That's going to be a 27 to hit, so I'm pretty sure that's going to hit you.
Yep, that hits.
And that's going to do 35 damage.
Still standing.
Yep. All right. She stabs her sword into you and then pulls it out. No cry of triumph or shout of challenge. Nothing like that. Just kind of morosely attacking you. All right, Kayleth, your turn.
Was it Illyra? That she's...
Was what, Illyra? Oh, that she's in love with?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Illyra.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Oh, no. Are you going to
Shay,
do
would
some
Illyra want you...
psychological torture?
Shay, would Illyra want you to do this?
Make a persuasion check.
With my whopping 10 charisma, that is a natural 1.
Excellent.
Oh, no!
She hisses in rage. You could still act, though, if you like.
A for effort.
Let's vampiric touch with the sword.
Okay.
Go for the other knee this time. That is a 24.
24 to hit?
Yep.
Yeah, that hits.
This is a lot of ones that were
It is. It's remarkable.
That is a 20
Okay.
for damage.
All right. The necrotic damage doesn't seem to be hurting her very much.
Does it?
You think she is resistant to necrotic damage?
How much do I gain back?
I
can get half of the necrotic damage dealt.
Okay, you gain 6 hit points back.
All right then.
Okay. Tsetseliya.
Yes.
So the astral dreadnought is floating toward you, and it slams again into the Mythal protecting the city, which cracks again.
Okay. So,
The Archmage is concentrating on sending power to you.
okay. I have, can I make an Arcana check to see if I know what other options I have for cutting those silver threads somehow?
Sure, go ahead and make a check.
24! My
Okay.
dad said I never paid attention.
Yeah, okay, so do you think a banishment spell will cut them? A silver sword, a Githyanki silver sword will cut them?
Okay.
Let's... There are certain creatures that can just clip them free.
Okay. None of these are things I have.
The astral
access
dreadnought
to.
itself can
Oh.
cut one of those cords with one of its
Okay.
claws.
Okay, interesting.
Or
do
its
I-
bite. Although from where it
Okay.
is, its mouth can't reach its own cords that are holding it. As
Um,
it draws closer, you can see a small golden winged figure perched upon the head.
Oh my god, okay. Oh, what do I have in my inventory? So what I'm wondering is if there's a way for me to kind of dart by, like get some kind of flying thing going and sort of swoop by and kind of get myself over by those things so that it might turn and try to get me. This is, let me be clear, absolutely banana pants crazy, but I think Tsetseliya's in that mindset.
So you're going to try and lure it away?
That's the
that what you're
thought.
saying?
However, that really, two things. One, I need to see what's my infusion situation, because I don't know that I have any flying ability kind of things. And then the other one is that that binding that I did with the Archmage, if I recall correctly, if I move, he'll be forced to teleport to be next to me.
Yep, he will move
So I need to be careful. Hey, can you fly?
with you. When the situation calls for it.
Like, could you get us over to that spot right there?
Are you pointing to somewhere inside the ward or outside the ward?
I don't know. Are the silver ropes inside or outside the ward?
Well, they're outside, because the
Oh,
thing
okay.
is outside.
Okay. I need to get outside of it. So that might mean I need to unbind from you.
Or take me with you. Yes,
Or take you. Yeah, can you go?
I can.
Okay.
It is taking all of my concentration to maintain the ward, although I'm not sure how much longer it will last.
Part of me is concerned about not keeping the ward up, but sorry guys, this infusion stuff is extremely complicated.
Yay, artificers. Woo, 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 woo.
Is there anything I can do that gives me, like, I'm looking for like boots of flying? That doesn't seem to be a choice. Do these boots of elven kind let you run on walls and stuff?
No.
No? I don't think there's anything useful in this.
Well, he can cast fly,
I know, but I want to do it. I want to be in charge.
or you can cast fly through him, which is more accurately what would happen.
Yeah, but that's still him casting fly. Really.
No, that's you taking the power from him and casting it
But it's not my spell list, is what
through,
I'm saying.
through the binding.
Okay, but it's still. Anyway.
All right, well, if you don't want to do it, it's fine.
I just wanted to find a thing that was already on my character sheet, and here we are. So, okay, yes, let's do that. You be the flyer, and I'll be the loudmouth that distracts it. In fact, actually, if he could cast fly, I might try and cast pyrotechnics in its face.
Okay. All right, so he casts fly.
And as we swoop by, I would like to make a firework go off in its face.
Okay.
That spell. Yeah, here we go. So I'm gonna say, turn your head, and I say, hey, dummy, and cast a firework in its face. It has to make Constitution saving throw of 17, which I think it's gonna manage, but I'm okay if it manages because I distracted it. That was also the goal. I think it's
Okay.
blinded. That's just kind of a bonus.
Yeah, 1 second. I just gotta fiddle with a couple of things.
That's fair.
Make sure I don't move around the dreadnought while I'm moving you. Okay. So you all right, so he casts fly, and the dreadnought crushes its claw into the ward once again, and there's this crack that forms, and Janusi says, hold on, and you fly up through the crack in the ward, out, woof, just past the thing's face. It chomps, but does not hit you because you do the pyrotechnics in its face.
Yeah.
Let's see. So it's a Constitution saving throw.
Yes. And it actually, well, it's within 10 feet of the target, and as big as that is, she is not probably 10 feet from it if it's in front of its face. Because its face is 40 feet high!
Right. It actually fails the saving throw.
Oh! Oh, well, okay. Then it's blinded. So this plan is a little awry, but I'm not going to complain because a blinded Astral Dreadnought seems like a net gain.
Okay. Yep. The thing is casting around, unable to perceive.
Do you have any silver gift Yankee swords by chance?
We're a
Never mind.
library, not an armory.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We'll just do it this way.
You're looking for one of the chosen in Mistra, no doubt. I like books. All right, you fly on past. The Golden Raven, who's sitting on her throne on top of the Astral Dreadnought, turns and looks at you balefully.
Nobody was just as baleful back.
Okay.
Inside, though, Tsetseliya's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
All right, and you hear a screech of like a bird of prey coming toward you from the other direction.
Look that way. What is over there?
An eagle is flying toward you. Actually, it's an actual eagle. But this eagle is mostly silver, but has green feathers amongst its other feathers.
Do I know who this is, or does Aaron just know who this is?
Make an insight check.
16.
You're pretty sure that Skaha is an eagle.
God, just don't. You're gonna get eaten by an Astral Dreadnought!
No, she's coming to help. All right, so down in the Court of Air, the drama is still unfolding. The Witch of Dementation and Sarshan are still fighting. All right, Kayleth, your witch is going to take another swing at you. She dances around through the shadows, appearing on the other side of you. This time, you anticipate her moves and parry with your own sword. She does not hit you. Your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna try it one more time. When was the last time you saw Ilra? You can see her again in this world.
Make a persuasion check. This time with disadvantage. Good
Oh
luck.
no! Oh, that was a good roll. Hope my disadvantage doesn't. Aha! 18!
Hey!
I rolled an 18 and a 19 for the record.
Nice!
She said something for the first time, which is Ilra. And she hesitates. All right, Tsetseliya, you're flying up around the Astral Dreadnought.
Oh,
Yes.
you guys still get to attack?
Oh yeah, you can attack if you want to. Were you gonna attack? I made this great persuasion check. I attack.
Yeah, maybe not actually.
There's the other one. Can you hit the other one? If you've slid this one down.
Oh yeah, just
There's like
a
a
little.
lob of shatter over the top of her.
You want to attack the other witch?
Yes.
You can.
Yes. Let's.
Your
do-
vampiric touch is still going unless you cast another concentration spell.
Oh, okay. Let's vampire touch the other one then.
Okay. You run in there, swing your sword. She deflects your sword, and then you reach forward to drain her life essence. What you got?
I got a 24.
That does indeed hit. So you close your hand on her arm and start draining life force out of her.
It's like sucking soda through a straw. It's a 19.
19. Okay, you recover 4 hit points. She also appears to be somewhat resistant to
Of course she is.
necrotic damage.
All right.
Look, if you're a one-trick pony, eventually ponies that are not vulnerable to that trick will come and race you and win. That's a Rashomon saying, isn't it? Yes. Okay.
Basically, yeah. We say bears, not ponies, but whatever.
Okay. Yeah. You and the Witch of Despair, that is Darkshay, has stayed behind. She did not pursue you, nor did she attack you when you moved away from her. Okay. Tsetseliya, you're flying around above the blinded and very angry Astral Dreadnought.
Okay, so I definitely want to get us over by those silver cords.
Okay.
And then...
All right. So there's
Can I
basically one.
message?
There's one at each of its shoulders and
Uh-huh.
two toward the back of its body.
But they all go through the same portal. It's the portal...
They do go all through. They all do go through the same portal. Although the
So-
portal is large enough for the Astral Dreadnought to fit through.
Oh, that's a good point. It didn't kind of close around all the... I was imagining it kind of closed
It's just
around
like
the strings. Like the strings were just holding it.
it just squeezed out of this.
Well, no, like
tiny
it's
portal.
big and then it's like, oh, there's nothing here. Oh, I hit strings. I'm this big now.
I see.
So that's what I was picturing.
Well,
Okay.
if you fly far away from it, you can indeed get to a point where they are closer together.
I definitely want to be close enough.
Yeah, I like
to-
this
for
idea.
it.
This is a yes and. All right.
Okay. Okay. Is that perhaps within 120 feet of it?
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to message the Astral Dreadnought
Okay.
and say, "Hey, dummy, I'm right behind you."
All right.
It has language, right? I don't know. I'm gonna do it anyway. So we'll find out.
Okay. Well, you start flying away from it, and the Keeper of Tomes is like, I'm not sure what's going on, but I trust you.
But I'm gonna pat its cheek and I'm gonna be just so you know I'm seeing someone right now.
He's like, oh, no, that's very flattering, but tell us and I have a thing.
You started it, I'm just saying.
I can't help it if we both like flirting. Anyway, so yeah, the thing starts turning, its claws snapping. It's obviously very upset.
That's the goal.
Okay, Skaha flies in, makes a beeline for the Golden Raven, or
No!
shall we say, an eagle line for the Golden Raven.
Ah!
And
Yeah,
as
reaction to say, "Get away from her!"
As she approaches, she turns back into her elf form and lands next to her and attacks her with her spear. And spear clashes with scythe. And the Golden Raven is distracted by Skaha.
We need another banishment sphere. Not sphere. Banishment scroll.
So you can banish Skaha.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, a bolt of magic flies out from where the Golden Raven is perched on the Astral Dreadnought and narrowly misses you. But once Skaha engages her, there are no more attacks coming from her. So there is some practicality to Skaha attacking her.
There.
She sees what you're doing. Maybe not specifically what you're doing, but she's like, you have a plan. I'm going to help you achieve your plan.
Okay. Still feel like she's just butting in, but I think that's how Tsetseliya is always gonna feel. So.
Probably. All right. The Witch of Dementation turns toward Kayleth. And she's like, you dare. Her sword charges up with flame, and she strikes at you.
Oh, you're muted.
No fire allowed here. No fire allowed here.
That's right. The flames just wink out as the sword comes at you.
It
And she's
works
like,
in our
"Ah!"
favor for once.
And she misses due to DM forgetting his own rules. No, she missed because she got a 18 to hit you, which I think is probably gonna miss, right?
That misses.
Yeah. Okay. And even if it had been slightly higher, you would have just cast shield anyway. So, right? Probably.
Kayleth doesn't have shield.
Oh, well then I'll roll again, just in case. That one's going to be a 22 to hit you. Does that hit you?
That hits.
Aha, all right. It does less damage because it doesn't have the fire, though. Only 15 damage.
Okay.
Should go get a Notha and turn around these guys.
Taking advantage of your assistance, Sarshan slightly moves around her and attacks, doing landing a smite on her that does some good damage. She doesn't appear to be strong against radiant damage. All right, the Witch of Despair turns, and at first you think she's going to come at you, but instead she attacks the Witch of Dementation. She's just so convinced by your persuasion. She doesn't hit, but she certainly distracts her. Oh, wait. Sorry, she had advantage. She did hit. Oh, boy. Okay. Now the broken mask witch is really unhappy. She's like, traitor! Traitor! Kayleth, your turn.
Does the witch with the broken mask seem familiar at all? Investigation.
Vaguely. Vaguely. Go ahead and make an insight check.
Ah, natural one.
No idea.
You seem familiar. Have I met you in a bar somewhere before?
She's
tavern.
clearly an elf. She's clearly an elf. She's very pale, and she's covered in black sorceress tattoos. It's not Illyra. No. Rumpus is like, is that Illyra? And I'm like, no, it's not Illyra.
That was my first thought too.
She was
that
a
would be-
relatively minor character who showed up in another kind of spin-off thing.
Can I just say, it would be so awkward if you're like, when's the last time you talked to Illyra? And the Shay witch is like, oh, Illyra. And the other witch is like, Illyra, I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here.
And Shay was like, you're not Illyra.
She's like, yeah, but there's a better Illyra. So
there's a better Illyra in this world, and I love her. And I'm gonna kill you.
Like,
and
I
you're like,
just-
oh
like,
shit, I don't want to get in the middle of this
I'm
one.
right here.
Kayleth's gonna try hold person.
Okay. Sorry, I
Love
moved
it.
away too fast.
That's an 18 wisdom save.
Rumpus guessed correctly who it was. This is Lady Blackblade, who was the Shatterkai that Jen Kretschmer played when she guessed it on the stream.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the dark version of her. Oh,
Well, yeah.
She saved against your hold person, sorry to say.
Okay, Kayleth is just gonna be all sarcastic and well, aren't you special? Meh.
Yes, I am, in fact. Would you like to feel how special? She aims the remainder of her attacks at you. Okay,
Is
Tsetseliya,
she
your
coming
turn.
on to you now?
Not so special that you can get away with having fire in this place.
She kind of gives everybody the impression that she's slightly coming onto them.
That's fair. Tsetseliya really can't tell.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, yeah, Tsetseliya thought the old sage was coming onto her, so
yeah.
All right.
Either she doesn't notice or she misinterprets. Those are the
Right.
options. Okay.
So
So
Tsetseliya,
anyway,
the,
goal is
Well, the Astral Dreadnought is now going to snap, snap, snap at you.
yes.
But it is blinded, meaning that it has disadvantage. So here it goes. Oh, of course, my monitor picks exactly this moment to stop working.
I think
Hold
that means
on.
it failed. I feel like that means it failed.
Talk for a
Let's see.
second. Yeah, you know, that
So Tsetseliya is like watching this nonsense with Skaha and just being like, what? Are you counting down? What's the countdown? Is he doing math or counting down? I'm sorry, I'm so distracted. Tsetseliya is watching Skaha fight the Golden Raven, and perhaps she is at a point where she can see Kayleth and Sarshan fighting these masked witches. And this is one of those moments where she's like, simultaneously, this somehow feels like it's all my fault. And also, maybe if I just went evil, this would be a lot faster. It's a complicated thing. Kayleth, what are your feelings while Eric is fixing his internet?
And
I think he came back. Yay!
All fixed.
sorry
But
about
if you want to tell your feelings,
what's
that's
going
okay.
on. This is very irritating. All right, so down to one monitor. Yay. Okay, so it's gonna, yeah, with all the technical difficulties, we're just gonna say it did roll a natural 1 on its attack, which means that it snaps one of its own silver cords. The creature cries out in pain and rage.
It is only blinded to the beginning of my next turn,
Okay,
so it can probably see me now.
all right. The blinding wears off, and there is now. Oh, okay. It got 2 of the cords, so there's 1 silver cord left.
Sweet. I would like to be close to that cord.
Okay, it is now your turn. Tsetseliya.
Okay. I'm going to try this just because it sounded like a fun idea. And also, my logic in this moment is if one cord is holding that big thing, maybe if the thing got smaller, that cord would yank it back. And if it doesn't, a smaller one seems like a good idea. And I'm going to try to cast and then reduce on it.
Okay.
Is a
What-
DC 17 Constitution save. With whatever happens because I am bound to the Archsage.
Okay. That makes it saves harder. So let's see.
I'm also assuming that as it's turned and snapped, it is closer to me, so that works.
Okay. It does fail the save, so you do reduce it.
It's still very large, just to be clear.
The people
its
fighting
size
on
is-
it
Oh!
are like fall off balance, and Skaha scores a hit on the Golden Raven.
Well, that's
like-
good.
Her spear stabs into the Golden Raven's mask and like chips part of it.
Drama.
And she
It
looks
goes
back
down
at
in
you.
size category.
Yeah. She looks back at you, just kind of worried, making sure that you're okay and that the thing hasn't, killed you.
Off with that! I'm disappointed this is concentration and you can't independently stack.
And it is at
Reduces.
that moment that the Golden Raven disarms Skaha and runs her through with her own spear.
This is what I was worried about!
Yeah. This is a reasonable thing to be worried about. Okay.
Okay.
So, down in the court of air.
Sorry.
Yeah?
Is that happens on a separate turn? My turn finishes and then this happens,
Yes.
right? Okay. I'm done. I was gonna. I had a bonus action I could theoretically do.
sure.
It's
What-
probably. No, it's probably a really bad idea because I can Misty Step as far as I cast the.
I mean,
reduce
we're
spell.
all about Misty Step, and we're all about terrible ideas.
If I just Misty Step up there, 1, that's a nice impulsive thing. 2, I'm gonna drag this Archsage with me, which is
Yeah,
gonna be
true.
interesting. My friend and battery, whose
So is
name
that what
I've
you wanna do?
forgotten.
Janusi is his name.
Janusi. Yes. Let's just yell. I want to say
Alright.
YOLO, but it's D&D. So.
Go ahead and move yourself, and then I'll move you. I'll move him to
Okay.
match.
Zorink. I'm just gonna jump up here.
Okay.
This is a terrible plan.
Janusi also appears right there. The Golden Raven looks over at you. releases the spear, which is stabbed through Skaha into the Astral Dreadnought's head, and then lifts up her scythe. And she says, "You think you can face me?"
I think it's the second time I've done it right now. Do you know teleport?
Are you asking Janussi?
I'm asking Janussi.
He
I'll
says
still like
yes.
teleport. Let's get that on. 1, 2, 3.
Who are we teleporting?
1, 2, 3. You, me, her.
Oh,
The dying woman, please.
okay.
Actually, can you reach my friends down there? That might be good.
I can teleport to them.
Yeah, let's do that. Also, feel like this is not the best plan, but I do not want to abandon Kayleth and Sarshan. Also, Sarshan's got healing magic, so maybe that's a good idea. Tragically, there is still that one silver string. Did not solve that problem, but I had to make a choice.
You
And
can
it turns out
try.
Kayleth
can-
maybe likes her mom. Or like Tsetseliya maybe likes her mom. Kayleth doesn't, I don't think. What's up?
Okay.
can try
All
what?
right. So that'll have to be on the next turn, though.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. So down in the Court of Air, that witch is now fighting 3 of you. It is her turn. She's real low on hit points. She is going to cast a spell. Does she think she can win? No. All right. She is going to cast a spell and disappear in a burst of black shadows.
Coward.
Coward.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. No, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Sarshan is he points his sword at the witch, though, because she's still there.
No, I
the
think-
Shay witch backs away from both of you, holding her sword up.
No, Sarshan, it's okay. I think she's okay. I think she's safe. Well, I don't think she's gonna hurt us.
Sarshan growls at her. All right, Kayleth, it's your turn. See that the shadow of the Astral Dreadnought has shrunk somewhat?
Can I reach the last silver thread from here? Silver chain?
How much fly speed do you have? Just flying, you probably can't get to it. But if you have like some kind of teleportation magic or...
Just flying, but I do have 60 feet to do a shatter. Which also has a 10-foot radius. So total, I have like 100 feet.
Okay, yeah, you can fly up to the Astral Dreadnought, which is basically, yeah, you'll be slightly below it, but within enough range to cast Shatter on its cord.
All right, let's do that.
Wow, okay. So you're not entirely sure if this will work. I'm not entirely sure if this will work, but let's
It's definitely
see the roll. So what kind of
it's-
save is it?
18 Constitution.
18 Constitution. All right.
This is not the time for careful, cool-headed thinking. This is the time for crazy plans.
Excellent. It failed that save.
Cast it on the highest slot.
So you're okay. How much damage does your shatter do?
54.
54 damage.
Kayleth, I love you. That's amazing.
So the Astral Dreadnought, its silver cords shattered. The thing's keeping it on this plane. It dissolves and vanishes into the astral plane once more, leaving the 4 people in the air, unsupported by anything.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
So,
I didn't steal your wings.
Tsetseliya, you're still flying.
That's true. And I grabbed onto Skaha,
Yep.
and I'm going to Janusi. Teleport, teleport, teleport!
The three of you you dip a little bit in the air, but the flight spell does keep you aloft. The Golden Raven starts whirling her scythe at you, and the teleport goes off. And you teleport down into the Court of Air. You land
We
on the
gotta go!
stand. The Golden Raven is still floating above, flapping on her golden wings, which look exactly like Kayleth's wings, by the way. The way your wings used to look before they turned into bone wings.
How does that feel? Are you like jealous or are you like mine are better?
Oh, I need to change my background, don't I?
I am very curious what Kayleth's feelings are about the Golden Raven having her wings.
Very conflicted.
They look
Definitely
like
very affronted.
I just want to be clear, I wouldn't do that.
See?
Probably. I wouldn't do that.
You already did do that, though.
I didn't do that. She did that.
But she is you.
Well,
No.
Kayleth, you are now flying in the air, and the Golden Raven is not too high above you. She's like 40
so we
feet
can't
above
have
you.
this conversation.
And she looks down at you,
Chatter.
and she says, "Come with me."
Don't listen to her! Her mouth's moving, that's how you know she's lying!
I will give these back.
Kayleth is gonna blight on the wings.
Okay.
I love it. This is so on brand.
Okay. Jesus. All right. Okay. How much is your blight?
Casting at second highest. 10d8.
28. Okay. So yeah, golden feathers start dulling and falling off, and the Golden Raven
Oh, I said 10d8.
hisses at you. Yeah. Go ahead and roll it. Tell me how much it is. I mean, the effect could be real dramatic.
55.
Yeah, it's pretty dramatic. Okay, so golden feathers start turning gray and crumbling to dust, and the Golden Raven kind of falters in the air and starts to fall, to slip. And finally, she utters another spell and vanishes.
I don't think we should be here anymore.
Yeah, I think we are. I think we should go.
Also, Sarshan?
Sarshan is already going over to Skaha to heal her.
Did we take the spear? Is the spear still in her or did it stay behind?
The spear is still in her.
Interesting. It's also
Well-
good because if you pull it out, she's going to bleed out very quickly. Fun research facts.
Yep. So, yeah, she's just lying there unmoving, and he goes over to do healing on her.
You fix
And then
it?
he says, I think so. I'll do my best. Skaha's eyes open, and she says, "Did you do it? Did we get her?"
Just hold on. It's good. She's gone.
That's good.
Just stay with me. Stay with me, okay?
Yes, so that you can rebuke me for my foolishness.
I mean, a little bit, but it was good. You helped.
That's good. Daughter, I have not been entirely forthcoming with you. Oh yeah, Witch of Despair, she has fucked off to places unknown.
I mean,
Anyway.
fair. We're very distracted right now.
Yeah. Skaha reaches up, one shaking hand.
What? No, you don't have to tell me anything because it's okay. You're gonna be okay.
I do. I never taught you how to channel your own power. There wasn't time.
I don't really understand what that means.
Take my hand.
Okay. I'm just gonna look
And-
up at Sarshan and just be like, "Are you doing the thing? Are you doing the thing?"
He's doing the thing. He's like, I'm
Yep.
doing the thing. And she is just as your hands touch, it's just this power flows out of Skaha and into you.
Okay.
And she says, I have made many mistakes, but you will correct them. I trust you. I believe in you.
Thank you.
And her body just kind of like turns into
No.
green butterflies and just
No.
flies in all directions,
No.
leaving the spear there.
No. What is that? Did she just bounce? Did she just leave?
Sarshan's like, I don't know what happened. And these butterflies kind of fly around you, and then they all start landing on you, like on your shoulders, on your arms, on your head, just all over.
Tsetseliya is gonna hold incredibly still, not wanting to dislodge any of them, not really understanding what's going on, panicking a lot.
You hear Skaha's voice. Don't worry, daughter. I am still with you.
Are you dead?
It depends on how you look at it.
Is this one of the things you weren't forthcoming about?
Yes.
Just, okay. Before we figure out what the next part is, what do I tell Artemisia?
Tell Artemisia that I will return. But you must slay the golden raven first. Take my spear. It is yours now.
Okay. Can you promise this time that you're gonna come back?
It will be the pact that I make with you.
Oh. Okay. Okay. What do I have to do? I have to slay the golden raven.
That's all.
Okay.
The butterflies, one by one, disappear until you're left with only one on your hand.
Is it the chopped up hand or the not chopped up hand?
The not chopped up hand. Skaha, even while a spirit has standards. She's perching on your
She's
hand.
like, I'm not gonna get on the band-aid hand. That's gross.
This is also the hand that had the golden mark on the arm.
With the scars.
Right.
With the red.
And the butterfly just kind of like, and then it settles, its wings kind of flap a little bit, and it settles on your skin and becomes like a tattoo on your arm, covering up the golden mark.
Okay.
And you feel the surge of familiar power.
Man, what's an easy thing I can test? I know what I can test. Can I try to summon David?
Yes, you can. David appears.
Okay. I
Wow.
guess.
Hey, it's been so long. I thought you were never going to call again.
You talk now? That's great. That's very useful.
Yes.
Before you made little chirpy noises.
Oh,
So it's cool.
chirp.
It's good that you learn new skills. It's fine.
I was just so excited. I messed it up. I
Oh, we're
messed up
being
the
rated.
game. Welcome, Raiders. Very dramatic
It's
moment
Ink
right
and
now.
Liar.
Hey, Ink and Liar. Yay.
Is Kayleth landed?
I think so.
I
Kayleth,
assume
did
she
you-
landed
Yeah, you flew
at
back
some
down.
point.
I'm gonna hold it up, and there's like the butterfly, and be like, I think I got a packed back.
With your mom.
I guess so.
Guess there are worse patrons to have.
David's like,
Probably. I mean, yeah. Like, I feel like right now Tsetseliya really can't say mean things about Skaha. There is a lot of things you could say about Skaha, but suddenly it's like, okay, okay. So now what do
our
we
pact
do?
will be different, daughter. I will not command you.
You just I'll just nudge you with passive aggressive comments.
I will offer commentary on your choices.
Pact of the mom.
Pact of the mom.
Are you sure you want to cast Sickening Radiance? Did it go well last time, darling?
You know you're gonna melt a lot of people, right? You know that doesn't come out of boots easily, right?
I mean, they're just gonna jump out. Okay, but anyway, okay.
Once we have defeated the Golden Raven, we can part ways if you wish.
Okay, yeah, that might be what we need to do. All right, Kayleth. So I should use that sending stone to tell Artemisia what happened. And also we need to figure out where to go next, because I don't know that we can count on the Golden Raven staying away for too long. Although, badass move getting rid of her wings. That was extremely satisfying, and I can appreciate it now that my mom's not dying in my arms.
And that is stuff we should be doing next episode.
Yes. To wrap up, we should decide where we're going next.
Mhm. Do
As
you
we go after the
you
heart of
wanna-
the.
do you want to
the golden
grab the
heart of the-
spear?
Oh yes, I should grab the spear. I grabbed the spear, which is covered in my mom's blood.
Yep. Well, it courses
wish-
with energy. You can keep it as a Viridian spear if you wish, or you can change it to whatever color you like.
Does it stay a spear?
It becomes your pact weapon, and you can change it to whatever you want.
So it can be my axe again.
It can.
But maybe it could be my axe with a mom vibe.
It can be your axe with a +3 mom vibe.
Hey!
Hey!
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank the very lovely audience supporters who forced me to give everybody +3 weapons. Good job, everybody. You're my favorite audience ever. It's fine.
Thank you.
All right, and
I'll cherish it for always until we're higher level, and then I want something better.
and on that dramatic moment, that is all the time we have for tonight. We went a little long. Thank you for staying with us for this long. But people have got to get to bed, and people have kids. So I have been Eric Scott to be the DM of this campaign. Cthulhu almost destroyed Candlekeep, but not quite because of the actions of these valiant ladies. Take it away, Aaron.
I'm Erin M. Evans. You can follow me on Twitter at Erin M. Evans. You can join me on this channel every Monday at 1:30 p.m. Pacific for Concentration Check with Yang Yang Wang, where we get some work done. So bring your project and let's get focused. You can also listen to me on Writing About Dragons and Shit, my podcast about writing with B. Dave Walters and Trevor Bettis. New episode out today. And with those same guys, you can join me for Champions of Lore, a show about the lore behind the game of our sponsor, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. Check them out at idlechampions.com.
Hi, I've been Emily Tang. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to our moderators and to Yang Yang, and also to our DM for not completely destroying us with the National Dreadnought. We're very happy about that.
It's not necessarily dead. It's just gone for the
No,
moment.
It's just gonna remember us.
We'll see. Thank you so much. Tune in Not next week because we are dark next week. People are off on vacation and stuff. But on the 22nd, we will be back for Team Rashomon, run by Glazia over there. I mean, Aaron. And until then,
mess
stay
everybody up.
scrawly. See you later.